Connor Mills is scratching his headlights. He's done all he can. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls. Welcome back to the Racing Line Touring Car Championship, round 5 for races 13, 14 and 15 of Season 2 of the RLTC, here on both the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch, and of course on VCO eSports, YouTube and Twitch as well. I'm your commentator for today, Jack Johns. Thank you to Stephen Burns, our live steward as well. Well, live steward is a weird phrase right now. And that is because, and you'll also notice that this is not Monday night. This is Thursday night. It's a funny story. This is going to be a weird one. If there's any technical issues, audience, then I apologize. Because this race is, as much as I am doing this live and I have no idea what is going to happen, this race has already happened. Monday, I was, how can I put this? Not here. Let's just say not here. Basically, I went to the Bahrain Grand Prix and got no sleep, and then I fell asleep when I got back from work, and I didn't wake up till the next day. My Monday didn't exist. It disappeared. So I apologize to all the drivers. I apologize to all the viewers who wait around on Monday. But, of course, this stream will be able to be watched back for anyone that wants to catch up on the action for round 5. But we are live right now here on Thursday night instead, before we head to Imola for round 6 next time out. Genuinely, I have no idea what has happened. I haven't seen any of the races. I've seen some of the pictures that have been taken by VCO eSports' very own Iku. Oh my god, I forgot. Is your surname Kakula? If he's watching. He's called Kakula on Twitch. We'll just leave it at that. But we love Iku's photos. He took some very nice sunset shots of the Hondas. I think the sunset is going to happen at some point in this race. I saw in those pictures 1 or 2 crashes. So, I know 1 or 2 people that have crashed, but yes, I do not know the race results. I don't know who has won. I don't know who has got on the podium, and I don't know what has happened in any of these races. I don't know who got pole position. None of that. Very nearly got spoiled by our very own Joshua Germany, who posts tweets on our Twitter at TRL Racing Line, but I've managed to avoid looking at it, so that is great news. We've got some people in chat. Nifty Chap has jumped in and said good morning. It is not morning. It is currently 11:15 at night for me, which means it is 10, 9, 8, 7, quarter to 8 for you, maybe 7:45. I don't know. Vince Cussie's back in YouTube chat and says, good old Jack is back. Thank you very much and good to have you here. Thank you for your support. Martin Wallace on Twitch has said, hello, friend. And Vince Cussie says, hopefully Bahrain was good. Though Bahrain was good. It was an experience. I've never done a day trip like that before. Wouldn't recommend doing it in terms of work on the Monday morning, but if you have Monday off, then absolutely it is worth it. And I got a suntan. People have been commenting on my suntan. 6:45. I was 1 hour out. Azzy4205 on Twitch says 6:45 in the UK. Oh, I was close. I'm 4 hours ahead. Vanals92 says, guys. That's his common phrase. And Andre Mayerek says, well, at least I wasn't arrested or deported. No, not yet. I am still around, so you've still got me for your entertainment. At least once a week here on the Racing Line. Of course, thank you to GT Omega and VCO eSports, our sponsors of this event. Round 5 out of 7 starts here. Let's have a look at what has happened in practice, because there are cars driving around right now. As I say that, we see Fabian Siegmann, who has been absolutely on fire recently. He is currently in the pits, although he is fastest looking at the times on the left. There's only 2 minutes left of this practice, so we will be heading into the qualifying shortly. So I'll look at the current standings then when we go into qualifying. You can see Duncan Murray and Morgan Burkhardt here showing off a little battle here in practice. Burkhardt currently second in this practice session. So he's 1/10 behind. He is your current championship leader for all sports racing. He's decided he doesn't want to play with Duncan at the moment. If I show you this is the current schedule for our calendar. We have 7 rounds in total. The special round doesn't count for points. It's just a fun round, which is open for anyone else to join. I'll show you a poster for that in a second. We've had Scheller, Cranston and Corpus won races at round 1 in Phillip Island. We then had Burkhardt, Mould and Cranston winning at Okayama. And then, this is where Siegmund woke up. Interlagos, Siegmund, Thurtle, Siegmund, Mould, Siegmund. 4 wins in 6 races, 2 rounds. And Silverstone is about to begin. That break week was the wrong way round, so ignore that. Silverstone was the Monday just gone. And then we head to Imola this coming Monday, and then Magny-Cours for the finale to see who can come out on top. But Fabian Siegmund has absolutely been hunting down that man on your screens, Morgan Burkhardt, race after race. 30 seconds left. I don't want to put the scores up just yet because when it switches over... Oh, just a quick mention, actually. Another problem that we might run into tonight is replays. We either won't see many replays here, or when I do go back to a replay, obviously I can't jump back to the live timing because it's not live. So if I do jump back, hopefully it's not too far back, and we can just carry on. Pussman is in YouTube chat, says it's the first time ever that I'm racing and watching the stream. It's magic. This is it. So the one positive of this right now is that the drivers that we are watching, that the audience is watching here across all 4 channels, can watch themselves for the first time in Racing Line history, because this is the first time that it's happened. So I'm sure a few of the drivers are going to jump in and watch back live and comment their points of view, their POVs of anything that happened in that chat. As we jump to the pit lane camera, you can see the layout of Silverstone National there on your right hand side, and you saw it on the intro slide as you see him leave the pits. This is the old pit lane of look at no fancy building this time. You see that nice fancy wing building on the main straight. We don't get that. This is the support pit lane for the RLTC here. But the Silverstone National layout, look at the track map. It's basically a triangle, but it does, or it has, produced some absolutely storming racing before. So we will hopefully see some of that tonight. I'm sure it's going to get feisty. It's very, very touring car track. It's used in British touring cars. And I think your man Morgan Burkhardt, your championship leader, is the first car out on track. So if we go on top of his car, yeah, he's got no one, absolutely no one ahead of him right now. Brandon says on Twitch, is watching me finish last better in replay or live? We'll see. Well, you were there, Brandon. It's good to have you back, actually. Let's have a quick look at the... I didn't go down the practice order. We saw all the time on the screen. Fabian and Burkhardt at the top of those times. As we see Burkhardt now coming into the first or the second corner of the circuit. Important exit here because it goes down to the main straight and you head down to the Luffield section. What was I saying? Oh, 27 drivers out there today out of the 30, but 2 of them we probably won't see for the rest of the season because just to fill you in on who's missing. So Jesus Amundre unfortunately now has work commitments. He did the first 4 rounds, so he won't be here for the last 3. And Henry Morse, I think I mentioned this last stream. If I didn't, I'll mention it again. Unfortunately, has received a rather strict ban from iRacing, which usually covers only official races. But for Henry Morse, it does cover hosted as well for 3 weeks, which means we might not see him. We might see him return for the final round as Dan Mould shoots to the top of the times. And now Mats Borg Anderson shoots to the top of the times, sets the fastest lap, passes Cranston, Dempsey and Burkhardt with a 101.7. Mats Borg Anderson still hunting for a win this season. He's in the slipstream of Stephen Fry. He's got Eric Manentveld in the orange Hyundai behind him. He's a strong driver, is Mats, as we see him in the ORD, the beautiful ORD machine with the orange wheels and the blue. I do like that colour scheme, to be honest. It looks nice. That's who's that in chat? That's Martin. Says, sup, Brandon. Duncan says, hello to me. Brandon says, oh, reliving our Silverstone outing. Oh, that doesn't sound good for the ZFG boys. For those of you that haven't kept up with us, ZFG are the red squares on the left. We've got Meatball Motorsport. In fact, whilst there's 7 minutes left, should we go through those team standings before this round? This is what it looks like in the teams championship standings. Zero Forksgiven are currently in 10th place out of the 10 teams with 379 points. Remember, also, if you're new with us, each team has 3 drivers. Each team has one of each car. There's a Honda Civic, an Audi RS3, and a Hyundai Elantra in every team to make it fair for these team points. Zero Forks given, 379. They are closing in on Meatball Motorsport, and with Jesus and Mundere now not here, we should see that gap close and potentially jump them. And if I'm honest, I think Zero Forks Given have the potential to catch Lurchus Gaming as well, depending on how the rest of the season goes. They are fighting for P8. Meatball Motorsport in P9 currently, Lurchus Gaming currently in P8. You've then got a big jump up to Goldwing in P7 with 540 points. They lost out a little bit from the round before, where Sam Van Olst carried the flag. Duncan Murray unfortunately had to sit out for a round, and Carl Ridley overslept just by seconds and missed the session. That's not me being strict. iRacing just doesn't let the drivers in after a certain point. And then this time round, Sam Van Olst is the third driver that's missing. That was due to internet issues, unfortunately for him, and he's in a tight fight with Stefan Scheller in the Team Husingveld Audi for the Audi Championship. Sam Van Olst is leading the Audi Championship currently before this round. If I'm honest, even though I don't know what happens, Scheller is a cracking driver, and I have a feeling that that may swap around after this with Sam not being here. Street Casuals, you haven't got a big jump up, so the bottom 6, you've got Goldwing and ORD potentially fighting for that P6 place. So the bottom 3 teams are fighting, the next 2 teams are fighting, and then you've got a top 5 breakaway. These 5 are pretty much solidified. Street Casuals, if I'm honest, probably look like they're going to stay there with 715 points. They're a little bit further back than they would like, I imagine. And with Henry Morse out of action now, I don't know if they can catch the top 4. You've then got a tight fight between All Sports Racing, Team SRL, Team Husingveld, and Pulsus eSports. That is very much closable. It's a 4-way fight for the first time in Racing Line history, from memory, for this late in the season. So, All Sports only 5 points behind SRL. SRL only 2 points behind Husingveld. And Husingveld 45 points behind Pulsus. But that is easily caught up, especially with Siegmund's form and with 44 race points available for a win. So, it's definitely closable. Tight top 4. Your championship standings, your drivers. Here's what this looks like. Should we start at the bottom and make our way up? Alejandro Caraday, 52 points currently in 30th place. Missed a few rounds at the start, which is why he seems to be a little bit off of everybody else. James Parfitt there in 29th with 85 points. Duncan Murray in 28th. And Brandon Hughes in 27th. Jan Weisfanger 26th. And Henry Morse in 25th. Equal on points. Martin Wallace is there in 24th, with Jesus and Mundere up in 23rd. Dan Thornton and Joe Gibson for ORD 21st and 22nd. Joe Gibson not having a great season at the moment with 131 points, just 1 point ahead of Dan. But I'm sure we'll see some form at some point, because he is an absolutely brilliant racer and gives plenty of respect on the circuit. Equalquay breaks the top 20 for Lurchus Gaming. Kyle Ridley is in 19th after missing that last round, just 1 point ahead. Look how close some of these points are. Steve Halewood in 18th. Mark Draper for SRL in 17th. He's been caught up in a few incidents, but he's a damn quick driver as well in the Audi. Stephen Fry there in 16th place in the Hyundai for Meatball Motorsport. Roman Perschke, he's had some bad luck, but he's in P15 at the moment, with Kieran Dempsey, who missed the first round, up into P14. David Corpus is in P13 with Stefan Scheller in P12. Eric Mannenfeld splits the 2 Audis in P11, with Sam Van Olst breaking into the top 10 with 291 points. So you can see there, Sam Van Olst versus Stefan Scheller, very close, 10th and 12th in the overall championship. Dan Mould is in P9, Matt Sanderson in P8. Only 2 points behind John Bailiff, who is in P7, with Stephen King there in P6. You then got Arthur Thurtle, the top 5, Jake Cranston, Austin Farr still in the top 3, Fabian Siegmund in 2nd place, and Morgan Burkhardt in 1st. 377 points to 352. What is going to happen today, and what is happening in qualifying right now? So that is the results. That's where we stand. We can hide that now, get rid of it. So who is still out on track? There's 2 minutes left. Fabian Siegmund's still going around. He's currently 2nd. That is look how close that is between those times. Silverstone National. This is what you get when you're on a small circuit with not many corners. That qualifying is, well, the full grid nearly is separated by 1 second. Some of these cameras sound really far away. Don't get to hear the touring car engines. Let me know what the volume's like in chat, if you can hear those engines. You want to hear them. You don't want them in the background. You want that excitement. Obviously, when we go on board, it might be a different story. A lot of the cameras are quite far away here, actually. And Sigmund pulls into the pits. There's only 1 minute left. He doesn't think he's going to get another lap in. Stephen King's not going to get another lap in. Oh, that's John Bailiff into the wall. Stephen King's driving around here. Just the Luffield section. So when he crosses the line, this will be his final lap. He's currently in 21st place. Only 7 tenths off of pole. But what can he do here? Is he going to improve his lap time? Stephen King, the last car across the line. He does. He goes up to 10th. Just 3 tenths back now. So he jumps right up from 21st to P10 to Stephen King in the Honda Civic, the Pulsar eSports. Kieran Dempsey's up there in P3 in the Audi. Sigmund is up there in second versus, look at that, Sigmund versus Burkhardt, first and second in qualifying. There's 20 seconds left, so that is your qualifying order. That is going, this is an intense fight between these two now. We think potentially Cranston might be out of the championship fight now, but he's definitely got the pace to be up there. Where's Mould? Mould's down in 13th right now. Thurtle's 9th. Draper's 7th with SRL fighting as well. Perschke's done well. The Austrian driver is in P5 right now. Let's have a look at the grid. So, Burkhardt on pole. Sigmund 2nd. Dempsey 3rd. Mannenveld 4th. Perschke 5th. Anderson 6th. Draper and then Cranston are your top 8. You then got Thurtle, King, Farr, Scheller, Halewood, Fry, Ridley, Bailiff, Gibson, Duncan, Murray. So I don't know why I said his first name and everyone else's surname. Murray, Corpus, Mould, Wallace, LeQuay, Thornton, Hughes, Carraday, Weiswanger, and Parfit rounds off the grid in 27th place. That was because Parfit has a quali ban for accumulating a number of penalty points. We had to start last, which he has done. So well done to that man. And here we go then. So waiting for the grid. I'll tell you what I can do, because this isn't live. I can actually fast forward this process while we wait for people to line up, which isn't something we can normally do. Let's just keep an eye on Kieran, and then we should see the first two appear at some point, and then I'll just click play at the normal time. There's Burkhardt. 14 laps round this track, which is the most laps we've seen so far because it is a short circuit. Jan says he knows who will win. Duncan Murray says it's because you love me. That's why I said his first name. You keep thinking that, son. Don't you worry. I'm going to hold judgment on that, Mr. Murray, until I've seen this race. Until we've all seen this race across VCO eSports and the racing line. Kieran Dempsey flashing his lights already. You can hear some engines revving. And away they go. That's interesting. No start light. Oh, Kieran Dempsey's disappeared. Don't know what's happened to him. He's jumped straight to the pits. There was no start lights on a replay. That's weird. But Fabian Siegmund's done it immediately up the inside of turn 1. And he's going to pass Morgan Burkhardt, who started this race on pole. The two championship leaders side by side as they exit turn 1, with Mannenveld up into P3 immediately. It's a Hyundai 1-2-3. Siegmund still has the inside. Sends it down. Morgan tries to get a wide line. Better exit for down this back straight. Let's go on board with Morgan to see, has he got the run? I think they're 3 wide. Mannenveld looked like he stuck his nose there. That was a very short onboard. But there we go. This is what behind Morgan looks like. This is what in front. So they're still side by side, heading down towards the first lap. These two have been door to door the whole time, but Sigmund still has the inside line, which is the preferred line here, because Morgan runs out a little bit. And now Mannenveld's Mannenveld's putting the pressure on Morgan. Absolutely behind. So if we go on the nose cam of the Street Casuals car, this is what it looks like. He's got the two Hyundais in front of him. Thornton looks like Mould and Draper are down the order as well. I'm not sure what's happened to them. So that we don't go too far ahead, I told you there'll be replay issues. Let's have a quick look at what happened to those two drivers. Oh, that's a weird one. I can't really tell from that angle, to be honest. I can't tell if it's Gibson or Mould. But Mould obviously coming off worse in that. Dempsey Probably the worst start he's ever had. He's down in 25th after qualifying 3rd. Draper seems to have gone off track. Oh, he's way off. Way off. Oh, that's why. So we didn't see that at the start. That's what happened to King and Draper. That would have been something to do with Kieran Dempsey. He disappeared off our screen. And I wonder if he was still there for the drivers, because it looked like they were avoiding something. And that's what's happened to Draper and King there. So they've gone right down the order. This isn't a good day for Pulsus, especially since they're fighting for the championship order. You're going to have to ignore those standings very briefly, because we've gone back to replays. It's going to mess up and think that some people are in the lead when they're not. But Murray can enjoy the moment, showing him in first place until these guys cross the line. So Fabian Siegman and Morgan Burkhardt, we've just seen these guys fight. We're not going to do too many replays for the next races, because that's a bit of a mess. So we'll just have to try and catch everything we can. But these two are going to be side by side, I feel, for most of the race. Look at these guys, 3 wide. Stefan Scheller, Far Fry. That's Bailiff in the Hyundai as well. I saw another car on the right hand side. It's Arthur Thurtle, who seems to have got a cracking exit out of Luffield. And then we've got the Goldwing cars behind. There's Steve Hellwood in the ZFG car. I said ZFG have potential to catch up to the next few teams ahead. With Steve Hellwood putting in a performance like that, he will do if he can stay there. He's flashing his lights. He's got into the habit of some of the other drivers. But look at this. Stefan Scheller under pressure here from John Bailiff in the midfield. Fabian Siegman will now have... he would have solidified that lead now, yeah. So he has... Well, I say solidified. He's now firmly in the lead and not side by side anymore, is what I meant by that. Mats Borg Anderson, though, side by side with Eric Mannenfeld. He launches it down the inside of the left-hander as they go towards the right-hander of Luffield now. He's on the outside line. Is he going to swoop in dangerously, or is he going to give him room? He has to give him room, really. It does get pretty close there through the long right-hander, and now they're heading down towards the start line, and now the order should fix itself. Which is what I'm hoping. That's what normally happens with STK. Otherwise, that's going to be frustrating. Here we go. They start crossing the line now. So Sigmund, this is where the order's going to shuffle around. Anderson round the outside of turn 1 on Eric Mannenfeld. They're still side by side. That's going to be a dangerous move, but it can be done. I don't think there's a slowdown out there, so you shouldn't see Anderson have to give that up. And he gains the place. He's up into P3, I think this is, as Cranston wiggling around on the brakes into the next corner in the All Sports Honda. Amazing stuff. And now Eric Mannenfeld under pressure again from the next Honda. Hearing the drivers discuss the cars. Apparently I'm having a stroke here. Apparently the Hyundai is the fastest one in the straights, but the Honda of Cranston there looked like he had the edge on Eric Mannenfeld. Must be something to do with the exit of the previous corner. Now we should be able to tell. It's the pull out of the corners, it seems. The Hyundai just seems to have that little edge on acceleration. There has been a BOP update on the touring cars, which will come into effect for the next round. Not from myself, from iRacing, where the Hyundai has been made heavier and the Honda has been made lighter. So the driver's going to have to get used to a new feeling car for the next round, which will be interesting. But these two, look at this, side-by-side action all the way through that section. As we go down the order, Stefan Fry is either being passed or trying to pass Duncan Murray. And Carl Ridley's on his inside now as well as they go down this back straight. Another car with orange wheels that complements the main colour. Purple and orange. Nice colour combo. And it looks like Stefan Scheller's making a move there. He had a look towards the inside of Austin Fard. Couldn't quite pull it off. These two still side by side. Stephen Fry. He's going to keep the position. He does. Well done, that man. He's in P12 right now. Ika Lequay is watching away as Arthur Thurtle's gone wide on the exit of Luffield. I wonder if he was helped. He's tumbling down the order and he's now down in P13. So everyone else gaining a position. It looks like he might have had contacts there with John Bailiff because he's also lost a few positions. But these guys aren't going to mind. Because Ridley, Ridley's through as well. Stephen Fry and Duncan Murray and Ridley are all through. And it might be Ika Lequay coming through as well. John's giving it back. That might be a request from race control. So they definitely made contact. Or John done it off his own back. to avoid a penalty. So, well, respectful, that's what we expect. If you think you've done the move wrong, you've taken that person out a few positions, give the position back, you'll avoid a time penalty, but you will still get penalty points, of course. Otherwise, you might just do it all the time. You don't want that to happen. ZFG, Steve Hailwood, still up in the top 8. You've got Martin Wallace there in 17th, chasing down David Corpus for Lurchus Gaming. And then Dan Thornton and Stephen King having a little fight behind, a little ding-dong. Alejandro Caraday behind them. Wonder if they're getting their elbows out as they head down towards turn 1. But everyone's still very much on the same page. I'll tell you what I've just realised, and I haven't seen... it was a pit. He's pit. Roman Persky is down in last place. Well, nearly last. Mark Draper sitting in the pits. But Roman Persky was up near the top in qualifying. And it's said that he entered the pits for some reason. So I wonder if he got a meatball or a drive-through early in this race. He's down there somewhere. John is in YouTube chat, says I didn't need telling, I'm a good boy, so he did it off his own back. But Caraday's looking a little bit feisty here, on his way down to Dan Thornton as we see Stephen King move up into P18. Is Caraday going to be able to get this move done on the ORD Hyundai? I'm not sure. Stefan Scheller's looking pretty close to Austin Farr as well. In the Audi Honda battle in the top 7. Can Caraday get in the slipstream? I think we're going to have a look at these two because they look extremely close. Stefan just sticking his nose in to turn 1. I think he's going to get the exit, is Stefan. And he's going to have the inside line into the next corner, actually. So Austin Farr losing out there to an Audi as they head down towards the right-hander. And then they're going to go down the back straight. And look at Steve Hailwood sending it up the inside as well. That's the danger of that corner, because you want to try and take a wide line to get a better exit down the back straight. And then, but if you take that wide line, then you just open up the inside for a potential send from the cars behind. Look, Steve's doing it again. He's lost the rear end, and Duncan Murray is going to go through on both of them. Has he gained both of these positions? He nearly did. Austin Farr still in the lead, but Steve Hailwood losing the rear. He's lost a couple of places. He's now just going to try and tuck in behind Stephen Fry. Made a bit of contact on the rear, but Austin Farr under pressure from Duncan Murray here in P8. Fighting for P7. Murray firmly on the inside here as they head down towards turn 1. Farr's ahead. Stephen Fry tucks in behind. It's going to go single file as they throw it into the fast right-hander, where the famous incident between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton happened in that Grand Prix. I'm sure that will forever be mentioned whenever that corner is being spoke about. Your lead battle is still looking fairly close. These two don't seem to be fighting too hard. Morgan Burkhardt is putting on the pressure to Fabian Siegmann. He's not letting him run away with this. We are on lap 8 of 14. Look at the glowing brake discs of these Hyundais as they throw it into this left-hander. It's actually probably a little good fight they're experiencing at the top by the looks of it. Morgan will be trying, and then going back to this. Caraday's looking to try and go around the outside of Dan Thornton into this. Oh, look at that. They make a little bit of contact. Dan Thornton sliding his Hyundai around that left-hander. Now Alejandro Caraday gets the position nicely. That was insane. That was pretty nice. Good little drift there from Dan Thornton. Dan Drift King Thornton in the Team ORD car. But he's now under pressure from this man who's making a return, Brandon Hughes in the ZFG Honda, and Kieran Dempsey, who hasn't actually made as many gains as I thought due to his start. He's down in 22nd at the moment, and behind him, Jan Weiswanger, who, thanks to SDK, briefly had a moment in first place, he said in chat. He enjoyed that moment. But there he is. He's got James Parfitt for company, Dan Mould, Roman Persky, and Mark Draper, who's sitting in the pits for this race by the looks of it. So Jan Weiswanger down in 23rd. He's going to be trying to defend from these two. I don't think it will take Dan too long to get past James. But, in fact, here he goes. He's moving to the inside line. Good to see Dan still in the race. It's always disheartening getting in a crash early on. The race feels like it's over. You just never know what's going to happen later down the line. So you see Stephen Fry putting on the pressure to Kyle Ridley in the Goldwing Hyundai. 1/10 separating these two with 4 laps to go. take this moment to thank you all for joining us today on this Thursday, not the usual Monday, as we see Martin Wallace and Stephen King in the background there. Not Stephen King, sorry, it's Corpus that was swapping over positions. Wallace and Corpus as they're still side by side. Stephen King is the Honda in the distance there. But both of these Hyundais actually look like they're chasing down Lequay in P15. Don't be shy wherever you're watching. Jump in chat. Say hello if you're new. Introduce yourself. Who are you supporting after watching this first race? Or if you've been watching all the races, who have you been supporting? Who's been the most exciting driver? Kieran Dempsey, look, trying to lead on the rear of Dan Thornton, and Dan just slamming that door shut on the exit of Loughfield. That was fair, because Kieran was trying to be cheeky there, I think, by putting his nose there. But I think he might have the run down towards turn 1. I didn't think this was going to be streamed, said Dan. Amazing commentary as always. Yeah, we're got to be done. It can still, obviously it's not live, but there we go. Savage Mode says hi, hello, on YouTube. Not sure which YouTube channel. I can see a couple of viewers on the VCO eSports YouTube, and of course a few on the Racing Line, and of course Twitch as well for both channels. So welcome one and all. This is round 5 of 7. Your championship fight is between these two, and to be fair, it looks like that's an obvious statement because these two seem to be 2 seconds ahead of everyone else. But it hasn't been that way in the first 4 rounds, I can promise you that much. There's a lot of swapping over going on here, and that is why Stephen Fry is off the circuit. Oh, that's a shame, because he was having a great race. I'm going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do many replays. He's already off the track there. That's weird. It looks like he's got damage, so I'm not sure what's happened to Stephen. But he's going to be losing more places. His car does look broken. Can we go on board? He's back on. His car is working. That was interesting. Shame, because he was having a good race. Up until that point. Sigmund Burkhardt lead the way. Lap 12 of 14. Mats Borg Andersen is still holding steady in P3. He's actually quite far ahead of Jake Cranston in P4. Eric Mannenfeld seems to be coming under pressure now from Stefan. So Stefan is having a good day so far. And what a day to be doing it. His main championship rival in the Manufacturers Championship, not here. And he's up in the P6 in race 1 of 3. So he'll be in loving that, and he's going to try and get the top 5 by the look of it. As I see King and Wallace going at it again. It looks like King's just launched it down the inside of Martin. And, oh, look at the slide on Martin there, trying to come back down the inside of Loughfield into the right-hand. Can you tell that's the only corner name I know? Loughfield is the only one I keep saying. Other than that, it's turn 1, 2, 3. You got the Wellington straight as well, I guess. Is that the right straight? Yeah, and the old pit straight. Stephen King moves up into P16. Kieran Dempsey is there in the background, P19. He looks like he's under pressure there from Dan Thornton, who he not long passed. And look at that, that's Dan Mould as well, chasing down Brandon Hughes. This will probably... I always feel harsh saying things like this, but there you go, didn't take long. Dan Mould down the inside of 2, throws it into 3, and now he's chasing down Dan Thornton. Stefan Scheller still right on the back of Eric Mannenfeld in the Street Casuals car. Street Casuals versus Team Husingveld. Oh, he drags that car's speed a lot more than the Hyundai through there. Just trail braked in, carried the speed through. As he exits the final turn onto the back straight. Does Slipstream have an effect, or does the Hyundai pull away? Across the line now, we go on to the final lap of this race. Listen to that Audi in those curves. This is his last chance. Dan Mould is looking very close to Dan Thornton. I think he might have just done it around turn 1. He has done. So he moves up into P20. Stefan Scheller's final chance is about to be finally done. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. You hear the cogs turning. And I don't think he's going to be able to carry enough speed. I think that might be it as we go to your 2 leaders. This is Fabian Siegmund and Morgan Burkhardt exiting the final turn. down through this right-hander. They cut this curve a little bit, or a lot, or all of it. They don't get a slowdown on the current version. And across the line for Fabian Siegmann in first place and half a second back. Morgan Burkhardt kept the pressure on. Fabian actually set the fastest sector 3 then of the whole race. So looks firmly in control, did the German driver. And Morgan Burkhardt flashes his lights in appreciation. Mats Borg Andersen claims a podium for Team ORD once again in the number 76 machine. When is this man going to get a win? He's got the pace to do it. And he's not the type of guy that wants to do it with a reverse pole, because I'm not saying the reverse pole isn't worth the win. But of course, you get more points for finishing in the top. Let's say you finish 3rd in all 3 races. You get more points for that than finishing 12th and then 1st. So it makes sense. Anyway, this is your grid for race 2. No, that is not your grid for race 2. Or is it? No, it can't be. So the replay doesn't do the reverse grids, but Mats Borg Andersen and Roman Persky are all over the place. We'll just have to look at where everyone is. Race 2, the top 6 get reversed. So whatever the results were of that first race, which is this. So you should have Stefan Scheller on pole, Erik Manenveld in 2nd, Jake Cranston 3rd, Mats Borg Andersen 4th, Morgan Burkhardt 5th, and Fabian Siegmann 6th. That is your top 6 for the grid. There we go. C'est different. Oh, you guys are speaking a whole nother language, man. I can't. Why are you doing this to me? You know how bad I am with languages. Anyway, the lights are out and away they go. Stefan Scheller tries to get the best start that he can as they head down towards turn 1. Looks like Jake Cranston had a good start. Cuts over to the right-hand side to defend from Mats Kasper Andersen. That's the first time I've said that all season. That is his real name now. Erik Manenveld, though, decent start, straight up into 1st place and leads the way with Jake Cranston behind and Stefan Scheller under pressure again from Mats Borg Andersen. Scheller taking the wide line. Siegmann sliding his car through. Morgan Burkhardt and Siegmann at it again in P5 and 6. As we see more people going down the order, there's some shuffling around going on at the back. It's Arthur Thurtle. Dan Mould. Is that Dan Mould again? I don't think it is. He's actually gained. Dan Mould is up there. So that's Draper I saw in the other SRL car, who would have started down there because of his pit lane race. No, I was going to say issue, but it wasn't an issue. He was just there. James Parfitt looks like he's on for a good start as he runs a little bit wide. But he's got Jan Weiswanger going round his outside into Lovefield. But can Parfitt get the better exit in the All Sports Racing Audi? He's going to give it a damn good go. And he has done. Well done. So he's kept that position. Stephen Fry moves up a little bit. We've got some position gains. But yeah, Jake Cranston has taken the lead of this race. He's already passed Erik Manenveld, and we missed it. We should put a limit on the replays, but I do want to see how Jake Cranston did that. So let me see if I can find it before we go too far ahead. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, this race was done on Monday, which is when we normally go live. And because I messed up, I was asleep, so we're doing it tonight. So that was a hefty whack from Mats Borg Andersen into the back of someone else. I can't actually find that pass, so never mind, we're not going to watch the replay. James Parfitt under pressure there from, oh look at this, 2x2. So SRL versus All Sports and SRL versus Meatball. Thurtle round the outside of Parfitt, while Draper goes round the outside of Weiswanger. But Weiswanger looks like he's got the run on the exit. Somehow, after their dire round 1, you've got 3 Pulsars cars all together on the circuit. You've got John Bailiff in P10, Stephen King P9, and Kieran Dempsey behind in P10. So he's having a much better race too, is Kieran Dempsey, and so he should after qualifying in P3 and then missing the whole race. These lot are going to get feisty. Look at Duncan Murray up there in P6, fighting with Austin Farr. Mats Borg Andersen looks like he's under pressure here. And Erik Manenveld is absolutely not letting Jake Cranston get away with this as they go down the back straight. He's firmly in the slipstream, is Erik. Is he going to go down the inside of the next left-hander? I don't think he can. The Honda brakes superior, and look who's coming through as well. Morgan Burkhardt, who has passed Siegmann, is now up into P3. So watch these two Hyundais, your championship leader and your championship contender, are together on track once again. It's third and fourth. There's a bit of a gap, 8/10, but Morgan Burkhardt needs to pass Eric Manenveld, who is a notoriously difficult driver to pass in the Orange Street Casuals Hyundai. Morgan Burkhardt right on the back of him into turn one. This is what it looks like on board with the All Sports Racer. Whilst I catch up on some of the chats that have happened. Comment, rejoindre ce championnat. That was my best attempt at French. C'est difficile. Does that mean it's tough in French? That's hilarious. Tu es français, says Savage Nose on YouTube. What's up? This looks fun. This is Scar Theory Plays on Twitch. Duncan Murray says shame SRL had a bad round. Je suis... I can't even say that word. Czech. Oh, you're Czech. That's what it means. I am Czech. As Eric Manenveld slides away from the corner. What? Well, that's how you hand a position to a few people. Eric Manenveld there, drifting his car, and now Mats Borg Anderson round the outside. Stefan Scheller right behind him. Is he going to run Mats Borg Anderson? Look at that. That's what you call fine margins of giving room. Mats Borg Anderson flashing his lights in frustration there after Eric just shuts that door on the exit. Stefan Scheller also flashing his lights. This is where it gets a little bit tense here. Down in towards turn one, and they're all back in single file and keeping it safe. Now, these two, they're going to play a team game, surely. Jake Cranston, who's further down the order now, is probably going to let Burkhardt through at some point, and some point soon, because Fabian Siegmann, his championship rival, is right behind. And there they go. I don't think Jake will fight this too much, to be honest, and he's going to try his best, I imagine, to keep Siegmann behind. Anderson behind Manenveld. Scheller's still behind. Farr still there. 2 Street Casuals cars in the top 7 once again. Duncan Murray holding it tight for Goldwing in P8. You've got King, Bailiff, Dempsey all together. Ike Lequay and Corpus together on track. 2 Lurchers cars. Stephen Fry's back up into the top 14. Carraday. Hughes is up in P16. He should be happy with that if he isn't. Steve Hailwood has had an issue. He's way down the order, unfortunately. He was having a good race 1. Where was I with the order? We've got Thurtle up into 17th. Gibson is there in 18th. And then Draper, Ridley, Thornton, Weisbanger, Wallace, Pershke, Parfit, Hailwood and Mould. Roman not having a good round once again, and I'm not too sure what happened to him. Unfortunately. Who is your closest fight on track? It looks like Anderson and Manenveld still. This little train. Let's go back to the chat. I'm rooting for the red car, says Scar Theory Plays. The red car, as in the red squares, which is ZFG, or there is no red car out there, no? You're colourblind. Do you mean the orange one? As we just catch Fabian Siegmann and Jake Cranston going side by side into Luffield. Apologies, Sky. I didn't mean to accuse you of being colourblind. But look at Jake going to shut the exit. He can't quite get it done. Fabian just had a little bit of nose there. And that would have been too risky for Jake Cranston to do, because if he did commit to shutting that and his nose was there, he probably would have spun himself round. But they now go down towards turn 1. Siegmann on the outside. Cranston on the inside. Can Cranston get the exit and try and hold this side by side down towards the next right-hander? He's going to give it a damn good go. Siegmann on the left. Cranston on the right, still on the inside, he's still got his nose there. Siegmann cuts across, little bit of contact. Siegmann absolutely standing his ground, puts his foot down as they head towards the right-hander, gains P2. But Morgan Burkhardt, a 1.2 second lead as he sets the fastest lap of the race the last time round of a 1 minute 0.7. This is what the laps times looks like last time round. There's the 1 minute 0.7. Siegmann a 1 minute 0.9, but he's now released as well. So we'll see how that goes. Ike Lequay's had a big issue. Big issue. Let's have a see what happened there. Oh, Lurchus versus Lurchus. Oh, no. Look at this. Straight into the wall. Bang. Car's done. See you later. Goodbye, Ike Lequay. 3 Lurchus cars. That was interesting. Anyway. SDK just about managed to stay with us there. Did not reshuffle the order, so it just happened when I spammed the replay button by the looks of it. This is still the current order. Nice little train here in the top end. In fact, this circuit, just once again, apart from whatever happened to Steve and Dan, tends to keep just everyone in the same, even though it's small, tends to keep everyone in the same train. Oh, that's what I was doing. I was trying to find the red car. Do you mean this one? It must be this one. All Sports Racing. For the white, red and blue car. American driver Morgan Burkhardt leading the way. Teammate Cranston in P3. Teammate Parfit in P24. I want to see a replay of what happened to Dan, really. But it's too far back, and because this isn't live, it won't let us jump back to this point, so we're going to have to leave it. As we see Stephen King passing Duncan Murray here, moving up into the top 8. So Murray now, turns into the fastest car there, runs himself a little bit wide. Bailiff comes through, and now he's got Dempsey to worry about as they head down towards the next corner. This is what you want to see. A Goldwing surrounded by 3 Pulsars cars. I can hear Duncan now saying, Pulsars bias, is it? That's what he says. That's what he sounds like, the South African driver. That was a spot-on impression. I promise you, anyone that hasn't heard him speak, exactly like that. Is it? Anyway, he's actually not giving this up. Is the 33 car as he looks to tap John Bailiff through the left-hander. Into the right he goes. John parking it on the apex. Got nowhere to go as Duncan Murray. Stephen King looks clear. Dempsey will be all over the back of this man right now as Weisfanger loses a couple places back there down to 23rd. Duncan not actually having the run out of that corner. Dempsey also not close enough to make a move as they throw it down in towards turn 1. I just saw Hughes get passed by Draper there in towards turn 3. He's actually got Gibson now on his inside, so Hughes losing a couple of places here. Drops down to P18 right now. Gibson just ahead of him. A lot of close fights going on. Scar Theory says... Oh, wait, hang on. Where did I get to? Jack was in Saudi jail on Monday. No. And, of course, there's Savage Mode. Stuff happens, the Scar Theory. SRLTV says, is that what happened? You fell asleep and now Mould is gone to do some moulding, says Jan. Love this combo, says Jerry on Twitch. I remember out qualifying Jack Johns here. That did happen, he's not lying. Duncan Murray says go Eric. What's the red car, says Racers Rand. It's got to be the All Sports car. The P has to be a little harder for the Duncan impression, but Naughty John, says Duncan. Duncan not impressed with John's driving, but John did nothing from what I saw. Corpus is in the pits. Is he? Yes, he is. Wonder if that's a drive-through of some sort. Roman Perschke's still going, fighting with Jan Weisfanger. Can Jan get the switch back and get the better exit to continue this fight? Purple wheels versus orange wheels. Team Husingveld versus Meatball Motorsport. Honda drag race down the back straight. 25 versus 43. German versus Austrian. Roman Perschke, though, down the inside later on the brakes, gets it done, and I imagine they'll just shut the door on the exit now, and that battle is done. And onwards to the ZFG car of Martin Wallace ahead, the number 20 car. We're on lap 12 of 14, 2 laps to go of this second race. Second race of 3, we've got one more after this. Look at this, Roman looking towards the inside, Martin covers that off, so he now switches to the outside. He's going to try and hold it around the outside of turn 1. Martin still on the inside, always gives room. Roman couldn't quite carry the speed through by the looks of it, but he's going to carry on towards this next corner. And the Honda just sliding around that turn. As I see Stefan Scheller is now putting pressure on Eric Mannenfeld. This is your top 4 fight, sorry. The battle for 4th, realistically, because Jake Cranston is much further up the road. But Eric Mannenfeld is doing everything he can to hold on to this top 4 position. And Mats Anderson there in P6. Stefan Scheller in the middle of all of this. Austin Fares has been watching all of this from P7 for pretty much the whole race, just waiting and waiting for that opportunity. Fabian Siegmann is right onto the back of Morgan Burkhardt. He's been there for a while, but there's 2 laps to go. Can Morgan put up the defence of his life and claim a win back to make it 1-all today, with Fabian finishing the first one in first, Morgan finishing second? And then this one, is it going to finish this way round? Burkhardt in first and Siegmann in second. He's closing and closing and closing. He's going to look to the outside, is Fabian. Morgan's going to try and brake as late as he dares. They're side by side. Can Fabian do it? Morgan gets on the accelerator nice and early. Is he going to shut the door? He does. Look at that. Slams the door shut as he turns in to the right-hander. And then he's going to try and get the better exit. I can see Jan Weiswang has had an issue. He's actually crashed somewhere on the circuit. And he's going again. I think he's just been passed by James Parfitt, who now moves up into P21. And we go on to the final lap now. Fabian Siegmann, Morgan Burkhardt, championship leaders, rivals, contenders, whatever you want to call them. Morgan Burkhardt defending as best as he can from the Hussenfeld car. Look at the speed he carried mid-corner there. That might have ruined his run, actually. Is that the paint job, or is it a damaged front bumper? I think that's the paint. But look at the slipstream now. It'll come into effect around halfway down the straight. It's not going to be enough, so he's actually messed up the exit of that corner as Siegmann. Later on the brakes, tries to carry the speed through, but they're not side by side as they enter this left-hander, sorry. Then the right-hander, and this is the final turn. So I think, oh, he's going to stick his nose in. Oh, he tried. He did try. But that, I think, is going to be it as Morgan Burkhardt gets the better run out the final turn. Across the curb he goes, and then across the line, which is going to be the shorter run to the line, and he flashes his lights. Morgan Burkhardt wins race 2 of the evening, with Siegmann in second and Cranston in third for All Sports. And Stefan Scheller in P4 in the end does pass Eric Mannenfeld. Wow. Wow is what I was going to say. I went, how? How did that happen? Let's have a look. Let's go back and continue with this fight and see what we missed. This says 2 laps ago, so we saw this. This was where Eric... We were actually watching this fight at this time. But what happened to these guys a little bit later down the line? Eric looks pretty safe this lap. It's weird to see how he lost. I think he lost 2 positions in the end. Oh, what's this? He had a slowdown after all of that. It looked like he had a slowdown. He ended up pulling over and just letting them through. As we see Austin Farr try and get past Mats Anderson. Well, that's what happened to him. That's a shame. That is a shame. Right, we can also do this because it's not live. We can just skip to the break. Put the timer up there. This is your time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching. Ricardo Ferreira's in chat on Twitch. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. We have one more race left of the evening, so do not go anywhere. We have a short 5-minute break where some of the cars might come out on track. And to be fair, we might make it shorter than 5 minutes today because it's... how can we call this? We need a name for this. Semi-live. I haven't seen the race. So, therefore, it is live and I don't know what's going to happen. But it did happen on Monday. And, of course, this Monday is... We return back to our normal scheduling. So, if you're joining us for the first time, because you normally watch streams on a Thursday, then join us on Monday. Join us. Come on, join us. Next Monday, we head to Imola for round 6 out of 7. That was a good one last time. It's always one fond in my memory because it's the first and only Team 1-2-3 we've ever seen in Racing Line leagues. We had a Pulsus 1-2-3 at Imola last year, where Connor Mills, championship protagonist, held up the fast drivers behind to help Bailiff and King remain in the lead. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would a driver have to hold up and help them? Well, the cars were a little different last year. The Audi, very strong. The amount, if you go onto the racingline.org, which is our website, if I put this up for you, and I'll get rid of this. There you go, the website at the bottom. The racingline.org, you can see all of the very nice pictures that Iku puts up from VCO eSports. You can also see all of the results and all of the statistics across all of our leagues, which includes all 3 seasons of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup and the 2 seasons of the Racing Line Touring Car Championship. And on that stats page, you will see a manufacturer's stats page in the RLTC, and it will tell you that the Audis are leading very much in terms of podiums and race wins. And that is because that is purely because the Audi was so strong last season. You could qualify 5th in the Audi, you'd have Hondas and Hyundais in front of you, and then by turn 1 you'd be in first because the starts were so strong. The Hyundais, very bad car last year. Whoever was in that car really struggled. And the Honda had outright pace on quali laps, but didn't seem to be able to hold its own in the race as much as the Audi. We come into Season 2 this year after a year of updates on the car, and what a role reversal. Audi is now the worst car in terms of the 3. They're closer than they were, to be honest. But the Audi worst car, even though there are still people getting wins and podiums. The Hyundai, people are saying, is the strongest car now. And the Honda is pretty much where it was last time, where it's quick. But for some reason, people are moaning that it just doesn't have the pace to win. But it does have the pace to win. I personally think, after watching these races and commentating on the races, I don't drive the cars, haven't driven them in a while. But I personally think the Honda and the Hyundai are pretty damn even. Because the amount of wins and podiums they've got. The amount of podiums they've got this season is like, it's 15-14 to the Hyundai. That's pretty even if you ask me. But there's been a BOP update, which I mentioned earlier, which we will see for Imola, where the Hyundai has been made heavier and the Honda has been made lighter. So that will be interesting. I also, just before I do, I'm going to skip the last 2 minutes of the break, so don't worry. But I do want to show you this little poster. I mentioned it. You would have seen it on that little calendar. It's the final celebration race. And I want to plug this to you viewers. This is free and it's open entry. Join the Discord for when we put up the sign-up form. The sign-up form will probably be put up soon. The TCR grid. I want to do a multi-class race. It's going to be a 2-hour and 40-minute race around the Le Mans circuit. It will be live as normal on Monday. The TCR grid is the grid that we see now, the RLTC drivers. And the second car has changed twice since announcing this. It was going to be GT4s, then it was going to be Clios, but I think it's only right to say I haven't had a chance to say goodbye to the Volkswagen Jetta yet. And I would love to see any Jetta drivers that didn't take part in the RLTC this season in that car. I'd love to see any Jetta drivers from the previous 2 seasons that didn't come back in that car. I'd love to see any strong Jetta drivers from the SimLab Championships make a return. And I'd love to see any other streamers that love that car. I know, Andre, that 2 hours and 40 minutes isn't 2.4 hours, but it looks cleaner than 2 hours and 24 minutes or whatever the official maths is. What was I saying? I'd love to see people actually pay a decent respect to that car because the Jetta has provided such good racing. And I was watching Jimmy Broadbent streaming it the other day, and there were so many people in chat showing their respect to the car, or not even knowing that it had that many good races. So I will probably be racing the Jetta since I'm not in the TCR. So come and race me in that class on that day in that race. I won't be commentating that. I will find someone else to commentate that one, but it will be live across both channels as usual, VCO eSports and the Racing Line. I said I was going to skip the break. I didn't need to because I spoke too much. So we are going to head into the final race of the day. 14 laps once again. The grid different once again. It's the reverse top 12. So Morgan Burkhardt will be starting 12th. Fabian Siegman will be starting 11th. I think we're going to have to do the same way we did last time. This will show us pretty much what the grid is going to be. So Kieran Dempsey is going to be starting on pole. Stephen Fry in second. Duncan Murray in third. John Bailiff fourth. King fifth. Manintveld sixth. Austin Farr seventh. Matt Sanderson eighth. Scheller, Cranston, Siegman and Burkhardt round off your top 12. That's going to be your grid. I wonder why SDK doesn't like replays. It's not a problem because we do this live most of the time. Okay, so they're revving their engines. That means the lights are on. It doesn't show up on the replay, but away they go. And Kieran Dempsey got a better start than race one. He's actually pulled away for one thing, and he leads into turn one. Stephen Fry, second place. Duncan Murray in third, and everyone slots into position. It looks like I thought a Street Casuals card had gained a load of positions there, but I think it was my eyes. I couldn't quite see Stephen King, as John Bailiff is already up the inside of Duncan Murray. Onto the right-hander. Stephen King's going to try and follow him through. Down the back straight they go. Eric Manintveld pushing and pushing and pushing Stephen King in that Honda. But Duncan Murray now on the left-hand side as they head down this back straight. Very, very much. Oh, look at the wiggle on John Bailiff's Hyundai there as he slams on the brakes towards the left-hander. Stephen King slides his car. He's lost his rear end. Makes a bit of contact with Eric Manintveld. He's going to be pushed out wide. He's going to lose a place there. Is Stephen to Austin Farr. That is Siegman, Burkhardt and Scheller there. Look at Scheller letting his teammate through. He's going to try and make it difficult for Morgan, I imagine. Don't know if the Husingveld boys communicate during the race, but I know the other teams do. Jake Cranston's now going to try and push Morgan so that he can get through down the inside of turn one. Free wide into turn one's never going to work. John Bailiff there and Duncan Murray making contact. Duncan's off the circuit and down the order he goes as we see. Yeah, he's being passed by a lot of people there, and now John Bailiff under pressure from Austin into the right-hander. Stephen Fry is absolutely not letting Kieran get away with this either. But what is the situation with your championship leader? He did pass Stefan Scheller in the end, so Jake did manage to help him gain that position with a little push. But Stephen King now very much in the way of the championship fight. He's going to try and hold on to that position, I imagine. Slides the rear of the Honda once again, gets a bit of a boost from the Hyundai of Morgan Burkhardt. Stefan Scheller's going to try and go around the outside of both of them. This will be frustrating because Morgan can see, if we go on the nose cam of Morgan, that is his championship rival right up there, just one car ahead, but he's got a car in between getting in the way. That's what the murders, says Duncan Murray in this race. Well, we'll try and keep an eye out for them. James Parfitt's gone off track and come back on. I don't think he's killed his car, so he's going to carry on. Morgan's actually lost a bit of time there, and Kieran Dempsey has lost some positions as well. He's still losing them. Don't know how this is happening. I'm getting a lot of stuff kicking off on SDK right now, because I think a few people have gone off. So there's been more contacts. Let's have a look at what happened to Matt Sanderson here. He's gone off track apparently. That's what happened with the YSDK was moving. Mark Draper slides back on. Duncan Murray nearly spun in avoidance. I'll tell you what, everyone else did really well not to hit that ORD car then. I can't actually see where Kieran Dempsey's been passed. If I click this one more time, I know it's going to mess up the timing screens, but let's try it. I want to see how Stephen Fry got that order. Oh, well, there it is. He just slid it around turn one. Stephen Fry takes advantage, and then it puts Kieran Dempsey offline, which is why he comes under pressure from Eric Manintveld, Austin Farr. Oh, they got tight through there, and then that's why he lost a few positions. We're going to have to wait maybe a lap or two. Actually, I think the order has sorted itself out. We saw that crash earlier. Roman Persky around the outside of Mats Borg Anderson there. That was pretty good. But look at Dempsey still losing places. John saying Duncan turned into him. Self-serve penalty. Look at Kieran there. Launch it down the inside of John Bailiff. He might even pass Siegman here as he goes round the outside of the next corner. They're so close, these guys. I can't believe the door rubbing. No wonder there's been apparently a lot of deaths in this race, says Duncan. Well, I say a lot. Maybe he over-exaggerates. Is it? Austin Fart down the inside of turn 1. Makes a move for P2, but I think he's going to run wide. Is Eric going to challenge him again? I don't think Street Casuals run team orders. They do continue their fight. Unless, of course, it benefits both of them, in which case they'll work together to get the next car. As we see Morgan Burkhard absolutely being hounded here. Stefan Scheller's still there. Burkhard firmly on the inside. John Bailiff on the right there with Stephen King behind. John Bailiff holding Burkhard tight down the back straight. Oh, slides into his teammate, knocks King out the way, and Stefan Scheller's going to come through now. John tries to hold the inside on Burkhard. Burkhard's going to try to hold it round the outside through Luffield. And Burkhard's going to get the better run, I think, at that angle. He does get the exit. Morgan Burkhard moves up into P6. But where is Fabian Siegmann? He is up into P3 somehow. So he's past Manenfeld and Dempsey. Actually, he was already ahead of Dempsey. So he's past Manenfeld. He's 2 cars up the road is now Fabian Siegmann, Morgan Burkhard's rival. But he's running out of rounds to catch up Morgan Burkhard. So as long as Morgan can stay close in terms of positions, it still could go either way. As we see, who is this? This is Arthur Thurtle, Alejandro Caraday side by side, and 2 very similar looking cars, the SRL and the Lurchers gaming car. And then that's Roman Pershkin, the Husingveld Honda, who's up into 13th. He's having a better race 3. Caraday late on the brakes, accelerates early, up into P11, races Arthur Thurtle nice and clean, round the outside of left field. Going to get a little bit of door action, not quite, I don't think. No, didn't do it. I think Thurtle's going to have the exit. He's not giving up though, is he? Caraday's still going. Let's have a look from Roman's got the best seat in the house of this. I think Burkhard up the road has just passed Dempsey as well. We can see a lot of cars getting sucked very close. Dempsey's jumped down the order again. So now Burkhard and Siegmann are side by side. Well, not side by side, but next to each other in terms of position. Caraday's lost out a little bit as well. What is it about this? I'll tell you what, discuss in the comments. All of you either drive or watch racing all the time. Doesn't matter what channel you're on. What do you think it is about this circuit? Look at that track map and tell me why. There's something so bland looking in terms of the drawing of the track map. How does it produce such close racing all the time? Every time we've been here, the racing has been like this. Bailiff all over the back of Manenfeld right now. Every reason I can think of that makes this track what it is. You can think of another track which has a similar characteristic which maybe isn't as good. John Bailiff, launch it. Oh, look at that. Bit of contact, door to door, 5th and 6th, side by side. I think John's going to have to back out of that. I think he does, yeah. Ooh, keeps his nose in, nearly. Very nearly, but Eric Manenfeld. Good little defender is Eric. Fights for every position. I like that. Some people get annoyed with that, but I do it as well, so sorry. Apologies, guys. If I'm in 13th, I'm going to try and keep it, because I know I'm not quick enough to get any higher. That's the real reason. We're all insecure about it, and that's what happens. Eric, take John out, says Duncan Murray. He can't hear you. It's not live. Look at John flashing his lights as Cranston moves up into P6 for All Sports Racing. And Eric Manenfeld's got a bit of breathing space now as he heads down. But Burkhard has now been separated again. Fabian Siegmann now up into P2. And he's hunting down the Meatball Motorsport car of Stephen Fry, who's led 8 out of 14 laps Stephen Fry is going to have to hold off one of the quickest drivers out there for 8 more. Oh, that was terrible maths. Didn't even look. 6 more laps as they cross the line onto lap 9. Weapon, says Duncan Murray on YouTube. Listen to how smooth he was on that throttle. So he gets a good exit. Stephen Fry's going to move to the right. Fabian's actually lifting off there. Goes down into 2nd gear for the right-hander. Straight back up into 3rd. Look at the exit speed he gets as well. Just the traction he had. Stephen Fry's going to hold the inside. Fabian moves to the right. Down towards the left-hander. Oh, Stephen tried. He really tried there. You can see he went a little deep. Not too deep. That was fine. But Fabian Siegmund moves up into 1st place. This is going to be another win if he can hold on to this. Nothing goes wrong. Stephen Fry still in P2. A respectable drive from Stephen. And Austin Farr there in P3. Morgan Burkhardt in P4. And Mannintveld P5 currently, but 2 seconds back. So your top 4 looking close together. Roman Persky might be making a move on Kieran Dempsey at this rate. Down the inside of turn 1. Little bit of contact there. I'm surprised not more people are spinning from that contact because these cars tend to do that. I'm glad they're not. I am glad they're not. Thurtle down the inside of Persky, the Austrian driver. Look at this, another Honda drag race. SRL versus Husik-Veld. Arthur Thurtle loves a good race. Loves a wheel-to-wheel fight, that man. That's a question, actually, for drivers. Or even viewers. What do you race for? Would you rather a race by yourself, driving off into the distance? Or would you rather a race wheel to wheel for a whole session? That's the question. I don't even know what I want anymore now in terms of when I'm running. I'll tell you what it is time for. This little link here. You see on your screens, vote for the driver of the day. It says hashtag vote in chat. If you click that link, which has been posted to all 4 channels, VCO, eSports, YouTube and Twitch, Racing Line, YouTube and Twitch, we see Jake Cranston move up into P5. Around the outside of Eric Mannintveld through Luffield, but look at Eric stab the throttle to try and get the high ground. I think Jake Cranston's going to get the better exit and they're going to head down towards turn 1. Anyway, yeah, that link will take you through to a list of all the drivers. You can vote for your driver of the day. Who has impressed you the most today? Caraday's dropping down the order. Jake Cranston's going to go around the outside of turn 1. Mannintveld is going to try and push him wide. Can't do it. Jake Cranston's going to gain the position. Up into P5 he goes. Good job. There's been some great moves here. Stefan Scheller around the outside now. He's going to try and capitalise on the slow run that Mannintveld got by being compromised by the Honda that just passed him. Duncan Murray has had an issue on circuit. Let's do it. Let's have a look. Oh. Boom. I can't even say that Twitch name. Hang on. Let's go back to live. I want to try this. Mad John says distance with Jack way back in my mirror. Nah, you don't enjoy that. You'd rather fight me. Wheel to wheel race says Mr. BF John. Good. Duncan says battle. Abwacanton Sprankman says let's go Scheller. Oida. Oh dear, says Scar Theory plays on Twitch. Anyway, lap 12 of 14. In terms of that Duncan Murray incident and Caraday from that first look. Oh, Stefan Scheller and Mannintveld still side by side for P6. That was hard to tell from that angle. Duncan's going to hate me, but on first look, I would say that Duncan was driving to the left But of course he's going to be like, wow, Goldwing will get all the penalties. So I will reserve my judgment for the steward's room after this race before Monday, before Imola. I think I missed a comment actually because I saw it earlier from Dan Mould, who says he'll be back for Imola, which is good to hear. And makes sense since they've just done a race over at SRL TV. If you haven't seen any of SRL TV's streams, then you can go over and check them out. They run a GR86 league, which starts on Friday. They run a TCR league currently, and they also do GT4 leagues occasionally. And those races are also streamed. As we see Austin Farr launch down the inside of Morgan Burkhardt here for P3. Is he going to gain that position? I think he might be trying. Or sorry, Burkhardt might be challenging Farr here. Farr's been on the podium for a while. And Burkhardt is going to try and move up into P3, but Farr's going to squeeze into the inside. We're on lap 13 of 14. There's one lap to go after this, and now we're on the final lap. Sigmund leads the way. Stephen Fry in second place, still with one lap to go, and Burkhardt goes down the inside of Austin Farr towards turn 1. Austin Farr's going to try and get the switch back, though. Can he get the rundown towards the next corner? He's going to give it a go. I think he is there on the inside. He launches it down on the brakes. Burkhardt around the outside. Are they going to make contact? He turns in. They don't touch. Burkhardt's going to get the better exit. And then here they go, exiting down the straight, the DRS straight. No DRS on these cars, of course, but Austin Farr maybe out of a run here. I think that might be a done deal. I'll tell you who it is a done deal for, and that is this man here, Fabian Siegmann, with a 6th win in 9 races. That is insane. Team Husingveld absolutely woken up for the second phase of this season, but there he goes, Fabian Siegmann to the right hand side of the circuit as he's about to cross the line. Hughes is losing a couple places back there. Across the line he goes, and Fabian Siegmann is your winner. And Stephen Fry, P2, give that man a round of applause, because that is an absolutely cracking result for the number 35 Meatball Motorsport car. I think that might be in fact, do you know what? I'm going to have a look at the website. I told you to all have a look at the website. I'm going to go have a look. I have a feeling that might be Stephen Fry's top result ever. But I could be wrong, so let me go and check. Stephen Fry's statistics page. He was there last season, and where is he? There he is. Oh, it says he's finished second before. Unless this has been updated already. But I don't think it's been updated already because the penalties haven't been done. So I think that that is accurate. So this will be his second place finish, I think, for Stephen Fry. But still, a cracking result nonetheless, because that is out of 45 races that he is contested in with us. So well done, that man. In terms of Morgan Burkhardt's success, he's done 48 starts. He's won 9 races. This was before today, so it's going to be 10 now. He's got 25 podiums, which is now going to be 28. He got pole, so he's now got four pole positions. And he's the most successful RLTC driver so far. But Fabian Siegmann is now, after that race win, just for everyone to know, Fabian Siegmann, in 18 starts, is now the 4th most successful RLTC driver that we've had in 2 seasons. Only 2 drivers ahead of him is Jake Cranston, who is on the grid now, and Connor Mills from last season, who's still up there with 8 wins. Anyway, let's have a look at those final results of that 3rd race. Fabian Siegmann, as we said, another win. Stephen Fry, not the writer. Is he a writer? He's got a voice, isn't he? He reads ebooks, but it's not that Stephen Fry. Morgan Burkhardt in P3, Austin Farr P4, Jake Cranston P5, Stefan Scheller P6, Mannitveld in P7, and then a Pulsus 8, 9, 10 with King, Bailiff, and Dempsey there, all finishing in the top 10. They needed those points for sure. We then have Arthur Thurtle in P11 for Team SRL. Matt Sanderson was in P12 in the end with ORD. Roman Persky made it up to P13 for Husingveld. And look at that. Halewood and Wallace for Zero Forks Gibbon, 14th and 15th. That'll be a decent points haul for the team with both of them in that area. Caraday and Corpus in 16th and 17th are one of the teams that they are chasing, though, and they are only 2 places back. So maybe they didn't gain as much points as they would have wanted on that team. Carl Ridley is there in P18. He didn't have a good day today. He's got much more pace than that. Gibson as well, 19th. Dan Thornton in 20th. James Parfitt nearly equals his highest finish with the 21st place. 20th is currently his highest recorded finish. Brandon Hughes down in 22nd. Ike Lequay 23rd. Jan Weiswanger 24th. Duncan Murray was down in 25th in the end. So much more must have happened to that man because he was still up there after the contact with John. We saw it, didn't he? He got spun round by, was it Ika or Caraday, one of the Lurch's cars, into the wall. And Mark Draper and Dan Mould, unfortunately, down there again. SRL not having a great day, but I'm sure we'll see them come back stronger in Imola, especially since, as I said, they run their own leagues. They recently raced there at Imola. So they've got a little bit of extra practice. That's fine. We'll see how they get on. Let's have a quick catch up on chat before I finish. And, of course, we'll have a look at the driver of the day as well. I am allowed now to actually go back. Well, I can't go back to the beginning on this. That's annoying. Unless I did it this way. Just flick through all the sessions, shall we? There we go. Now we've got something to watch. Let's have a look at these Drive of the Day votes. Thank you all for watching so far across all the channels. If you have enjoyed today's stream, although it was a little late, don't forget to join us again on Monday for Imola. And it will be live, so we can watch more replays properly. There won't be any overlay issues. Only 3 votes on the Driver of the Day. That means it will come down to me. Or we can just get one more in there whilst I catch up on chat. Duncan Murray says running out of electricity. John says stick 50p in the meter. Don't think that's how it works. German precision personified says Scar Theory plays. Africa Problems says Duncan. Do the criminals have diplomatic immunity? They're just talking about South Africa's governmental troubles. I think, let me have a quick look at something. I will pick based on, yes, I think Fabian Siegman is your driver of the day because, well, 6 race wins in 9 races, and he deserves it. He definitely earned it. And there he is. He started in 12th that race, don't forget, or 11th, sorry. Burkhardt started in 12th. And he went on to win. Good round. Silverstone, always great racing. Thank you all for watching. We can't do interviews today because it's not live. I could jump in there, but I am not going to. Thanks for joining us, whether you watched us on VCO Esports or the Racing Line. I hope to see you on Monday for Imola, round 6 of the Racing Line Touring Car Championship, powered by GT Omega Racing. If you want some discounts on GT Omega products, type in TRL5 before you order, and you can get 5% off. And if I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here. Oh, wait, don't do the outro yet, because I want you to sign up to this. I don't know what's happened with Restream. If you can still hear me, that's good. But sign up to the final round, 2.4 hour of Le Mans in the Volkswagen Jetta. There's 30 spaces available. I will put up a sign up form in the Discord, so join the Discord, please. Join the Discord. And if I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace!